And we are here back in our almost weekly chats and conversations about what's next. Hi, Jack. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Hi, Martin. What's next? Tell
Hey,
me.
yeah, what's next? Let's roll it out and jump straight ahead to our topics because it's been a while. I don't know if you have the same feeling as I do, but this week was kind of, I don't know, like a couple of weeks of activities around everything what we are following in the industry, in the AI, and all the other modern, let's say, topics around. I saw a couple of the people, landing in the hospitals because they were so determined to do so much that their physical health was collapsing. So be aware and be careful about this, because right now it's probably more dangerous than ever to do too much or to stress yourself too much. But yeah, my topic number one is about AI sovereignty and ownership. I think it's something what I observed recently as a potential maybe problem in the future, because the question which I ask more often now is like, who owns our intelligence? Who owns this super intelligence? Who owns stuff in general? And I think that the case which I wanted to talk about is generally about where the data lives, who owns our data, and maybe in the relation to something that we discussed a couple episodes ago, is about, should we go local or should we mix approaches to utilization of the models and AI. And generally, recently, I saw some tweets and discussions about China, of course, going to the way of protecting their models access from the other sides of the world. I think we'll see it more and more often, and that all drove me to explorations of our own models in Polish district and the Polish region, and we have a model called Bielik, which is our own Polish-owned intelligence, and the model which is kind of getting its traction because it was boosted by some business figures. Rafał Brzoska, who is a huge figure from the business and owner of the InPost company, who is extremely going global with his business inside recently as well. And again, I think the challenge which we will be facing, and my prediction is that the better models countries will own, the better will be their output, of course, on the intelligence and the production of everything which they will be doing, especially with the, let's say, maybe more limited access to models that will be generally bigger and trained with the better data and the better information. And yeah, right now I've seen it even amongst the companies such as Siemens, DoorDash, Airbnb. They were announcing and they were talking about and they were openly talking about adoption of the Chinese models. But then if those models won't be accessible for them to be used locally, to what they will switch to. Will they use the models from their countries? Will they try to bypass it? Will they offshore their AI driven development to some other countries? It's kind of seems for me as a potential that we'll be building our company or companies around models and access to the models. Previously, maybe the challenge was, okay, let's start or place the company in the more like tax-friendly environments, or place it somewhere where the labor is generally cheaper. In the, let's say, couple maybe years ahead of us, maybe the case would be, let's put some organization or at least our entity somewhere where we have access to cheaper models or maybe bigger models, better models, things like that. That was something what I was trying to think about, and now, especially in the again, now we have access to everything. Claude and other providers are giving us more time to consume their amazing models and amazing capabilities. But if it will all stop, or if it will all be less accessible, will we be deploying our entities and projects into the places where we have access to GLM or DeepSeek, or will stay in European locations where we have some kind of, let's say, more controlled access to intelligence. And I think I saw some kind of comparisons between USA, China, and Europe. And if we'll be looking only at this, probably we would be doomed, and we'll be in the huge problems if we'll be staying in the European controlled access to intelligence. Will maybe open source help us in that way, because those models, those data, those accesses will be collective intelligence from various locations, various places, various information sources. And then thinking about Europe, where we are based for most of the times, should Europe own his own model, not treating it as a Polish model, I don't know, German's models or whatever? Should Europe as a European Union has a model as well? Those are the questions that I'm kind of actively processing about. But I think that the sovereignty and general ownership of this models will be a case and the challenge ahead of us. And in case of more like a business approach to that, isn't it as some kind of vendor lock for all the founders and all the people inside of the specific countries? Because if we will be, let's say, limited only to our country's intelligence and country's information around the models, it will be some kind of vendor lock for us to try to be on top of the other businesses. And again, we don't want to be treated as let's say, less potential entrepreneurs. We don't want to do that. We would be exposed and available to consume the best intelligence, the best information. So this is my take, and this is my maybe more like an open question. Number one, it's not a thesis, it's not an information just is confirmed, but in my opinion, I think the problem of ownership of the intelligence will be the problem that right now we will be solving amongst the case of us doing local versus public explorations of the models. Do you have anything to add to that? Did you see this amongst your explorations of the topics recently?
Yeah, exactly. So, do you know the Mistral AI, the French model? So
I've heard it.
Yeah. So the idea, the roots why it was built was that the French government didn't want to use the US AI because they don't want to have like the US way of thinking answers from the AI to French people. So it partially answers your question that this is really important because the AI can be really biased. So once you have answers really towards one direction of view of the world, then you cannot get really pure answers regarding many topics, not only political ones, but if you ask what should I do in my life, what next career move should I do, you ask that about AI. So the US AI model can give you different answers than, for example, Mistral AI. So that was the roots why the Mistral AI was brought to the life. And similarly with Bielik, the Polish one. So this is really interesting to see how it will continue, especially when the Chinese models will be much cheaper than European and the US ones. And the other topic also connected to that is the copyrights, because when you generate something with the AI, you not necessarily have the copyrights to what you get. So it's kind of like open source MIT license in a way. You can sell it, you can use it, but everybody else can ask AI for the same thing and get very similar thing or literally the same thing. So there was a huge case with the Roblox characters, which was created by some third party. It went viral, it was very popular, and after some time, it was used in the main version of the Roblox because by the court, those characters were generated by the AI, so there is no copyrights.
Ownership.
There's no ownership for the third-party vendor who brought the idea into the life. So I don't know how this will end up. Probably they will try to convince that there was some human involved in the process, and actually the idea for those characters came from the human, and maybe AI was only the tool which helped to generate it. That would make sense in just not thinking about the problem, but the lawyers have to work and judge according to the rules of law. So I'm really looking at this to know what's possible, what's legal, what's not legal regarding the copyrights of the things you generate with the AI.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see, we'll explore, and yeah, I know that about Mistral that some of the governments are allowed to again use it, but some of the ones are not allowed to use the other ones. So it will be interesting to see this discussion on the geopolitical level, because that's usually some levels that are outside of our control in most of the cases.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see. Your topic number one is why we built. So tell us more
It's a
about
little
it.
bit philosophical. It's more the why we build things. Of course, to earn money, but when we take money aside and only think about why we do what we do, in my case, I always wanted to help with my software other people to have a little bit less problems on the daily basis. So when I was running the custom software agency, I was able to help corporates with the daily tasks. And of course, they have multiple employees using the same software. So the software was spread within the corporate for tens or hundreds of people. But now with the SaaS products, I take this idea to the next level. So with my software, thousands of people have a little bit less problems during the day. So I wasn't inspired, but when I saw the Nike ad from 10 years or even more, a little less heard. Do you know that ad? So the Johnny Cash song heard in the background, and the athletes struggling to make even the next move because they are so tired. And there is this label, a little less hurt because you wear Nike shoes. So I want to make people feel a little bit less hurt of the daily tasks using my software. So it's nothing super sophisticated. It just help people do their daily stuff. And yeah, so I'm looking for software not in the entertainment space, productive tools for the B2B, but as a SaaS. So it can be implemented in the whole industry, not only for the one corporate. So I'm looking for those type of usage and those type of projects to work on, invest in, and see how it works, get the feedback from users, and every feedback when I see that it really helps, so the users can reallocate time to do other stuff, and the automation and the AI features which are implemented in the products really take over some repetitive tasks. That's really gold to me to hear that. So I'm more motivated now with the output of the software I create and invest in than just looking on the revenue. So yeah, that would be my first topic, and I will leave you with the same question: why do you build products?
Yeah, I was thinking about when I saw it for the first time, and I think the same answer is like, to help, generally, to help with software, because we talked about it multiple times earlier that we can build everything now. But this question, why we build something, is probably the one to be asked before we will build, because I see every day, I see a lot of ideas, tools, things being built and shipped, shown, which are of course resolving some of the problems for someone, but it then turns out that this is problem of one person, or maybe two people sitting in the separated places on the world. So I think what you mentioned, and something what I would be adding to that is like the most interesting projects or companies or businesses to be built is like the stage after already landing with this product market fit setting. So if you already have a small chunk of people, but they are, they cannot imagine a world tomorrow without your tool, that would be the ideal case of why something has been built. Like, for example, right now, imagine a situation where all the agents, all the AI is gone now. You don't have access to any models. You don't have access to ChatGPT, anything. What would you do? Would you suffer? Would you be okay? Would you say, okay, life goes on? Probably not. We probably will be quite unhappy and quite lost in the approaches and setup that you have at the moment. So if your next build would be something like this, if there's a company, there's a business that already gives so much, I don't like this word, but so much value to someone else that they cannot live without it tomorrow, amazing. That proves the point, that proves the fact that that was something that's supposed to be built. And again, there's probably thousands of software tools and similar platforms that are doing things like that, maybe less distributed, maybe less promoted. But if you have 5, 10, 100, 1,000 people who are already happier from using your tool rather than unhappy from not using it, that would be my answer to the question why I would like to build something like this, right? So that's my take to this topic.
But that's a very good point. And one of my SaaS mentors, Alex Becker, has this metrics which you actually mentioned. So if you turn off your software and people will be ringing you, will be very mad at you that you ruined their day because this is turned off. That's exactly metrics you want to see. Of course, you don't want to have your server down, but if this would happen, everybody would be super mad at you. That means you're doing something good. So I know if one of my products, if I would turn it off, that would be a huge problem and a lot of phone calls. So of course I keep everything up and running, but that's the perfect metric you mentioned. So what's your second topic?
Yeah, my second topic is about language, let's say, because I found that now MCPs seems to be a thriving and growing not only protocol, as I want to talk about today, but generally a language in between of an interface to be spoken in between of the tools and people, developers and humans. Adam Overman Gospodarczyk shared an interesting Twitter read, which I will probably attach to this description, because he was the one who I followed for a longer time about AI and everything else, and automations as well. And his article was titled "I was wrong about MCPs," because and I don't want to spoil too much about his article, but generally he and mine take to MCPs a while ago were only about protocol. It was only about the way of communicating with things. And when we work with AI now and we work with models, we utilize some tools. GitHub has its own MCP, right? Slack has its own MCP. Umbraco, in which I'm heavily involved, has its own MCP. Jira, and each service has its own MCP. And that's okay. That's cool because probably this is needed somewhere by someone, or was needed by someone somewhere. But both Adam's and my observation recently was that, but if we have, millions of MCPs, even the best models probably will suffer finding out the right MCP for the right purpose. They will have some challenges in deciding which one to use for specific cases. And if you have a Jira, you have a Monday or whatever else tools that you are using for managing projects, which one to use if you are using both. Challenges like this. So Adam mentioned something like about having some kind of behavior-driven MCPs, even though, right? Something like specific agents built around what the agents are trying to achieve. So not only tool-driven approach to MCPs, but generally the purpose-driven MCPs. And I found one company, one startup, which is coming from Y Combinator. They were called Manufact MCPUs. That's their tool which they built. And they built an SDK to build MCPs. And I'm actively exploring this field right now because I think like we all have some behavior-driven scenarios where we would like to even maybe combine a couple of other MCPs behind the scenes, but generally the purpose is completely different than the tool itself. So if you're thinking even about, client or potential client or lead, you have, of course, CRM behind the scenes, ERP, maybe some kind of product platform, maybe even Jira, Slack, whatever else you are doing with those clients and leads. And maybe then you will have one MCP, which is the orchestrator of multiple other MCPs behind the scenes. But you don't want to think about MCP as just a tool platform and connect them all together. But if easiness of building your own MCP is in place, which is obviously with even this MCP use SDK or different other platforms that are doing similar things right now, we are already seeing some kind of maybe developer layer right now only on top of the MCPs, but imagine this being taken up to the business level. So if you have a real business problem that your startup, SaaS, or whatever else is solving, imagine this being hidden behind the MCP, while your MCP becomes your business generally. So that's interesting, especially from the perspective of dealing more with agents, multi-agents work, even the loops or semi-automatic agents. Reuters recently released the MCP for their information, and this is not a tool, it's not a brand, this is the portal, right? And imagine more portals, more businesses like this doing similar things. And the question which I had in my mind, which probably might be something which you can relate to, is like, imagine users not even logging into the platforms anymore, but then being, using agents to find out the information, to orchestrate their tools, to access the information, even in your SaaS product, for example, right? If they won't go to the browser to log in, to check something, if they won't go to their application to log there, that's the interesting perspective to have. And again, without being in place for the agents to play around with your tool, with your platform, with your business, we might have challenges in being in place where that we should be. So previously you had APIs, you let developers to integrate with your APIs. You were optimizing your software for better navigation, better UX on the website, things like that. Now it seems to be less and less important. And not to say completely not important at the moment, but it's less important definitely as it was in the past, because agents should be able to go to your site, should be able to go to your product business and do whatever your product is allowing to do. And then my kind of thought to be left after this topic is like, maybe the next accessibility standard will be some kind of agent accessibility on how you are, exploring the work behind the agent work through MCP as a protocol, because it's probably one of the most established at the moment. It's a standard for this kind of communication, and it's evolving constantly. So I wouldn't be surprised if MCP evolution would lean towards more like a orchestration first protocol to be an API endpoint for multiple hidden API endpoints behind the scenes with the authentication and all the other stuff. And it is happening already, I would say, because I see it amongst multiple products and multiple startups. And I think this is the new hot thing. And what those articles and those approaches and explorations from other people who are heavily inside of the business confirms, I'm dedicating a lot of time this week towards MCPs explorations and building some MCPs for my tools and my products and my business. So that's my topic number 2. Do you have some experience with MCPs so far, Jar?
So this is super related to my first topic. Maybe for the first sight it doesn't sound that, but it really is. So I wanted to mention that during my first topic, but this is smoothly connected to yours, because as my original idea was to help the biggest amount of people, now I upgraded that also to help the biggest amount of the agents, because in the end, agents will help people. So I'm already thinking this way, not only software with the desktop UIs, but also integration, which will be automated, used by the AI agents. So I definitely look at this. as not only like the sales vector, but also how to help the bigger amount of people through their agents, which they are using. So definitely this is like the new gold rush, new market. So every time when you build a product, even with the desktop version, you have to prepare even the website for the agents so they can understand what's the pricing, how this will work, if there is like an API connection. So not only third-party software can use the API connection, but the agents themselves. So this is part of the, let's say, tech stack I'm preparing. This is the part of the vision which I have behind every product I'm investing or building nowadays. So this is like the very huge topic, and also very big gold rush in the US. In Europe, we are a little bit slower, but still many people are looking at what's going on global-wise, what are the trends, and this just makes sense on all the levels because your software will be bought in short future by agents. So like for example, Hermes agent can have their own credit card, and they will search for the software, let's say in the some marketing technology, and it will list few competitors doing similar things, and then it will narrow down automatically to platforms which can be run via the APIs, what's the pricing, what are the reviews of the software, and so on and so on. And in the end, it will automatically select one platform and use the integration automatically. So building even regular stuff, I keep that in my mind that like in the next months, probably it happens already on the market, but I'm thinking about my field that some agents will select my software, I want to use it. So I want to make it as easy for them as I try to make it as easy for humans. So the less clicks possible, all the automations, all the AI-backed processes inside, which will make it possible. So yeah, definitely that's the huge gold rush. And even like starting some ideas only as MCPs, which will charge for some kind of connections. This alone can be the business model. I don't have it. I have it as a part of the package, which still can be operated by humans, but also available for AI bots.
Cool. I will get back to this topic after yours as well, because I have a third angle to that as well. But that's an interesting to take, and I will definitely get back to that. But your topic number two.
Yes, so it's a little bit hardware connected, but not in a geeky way, maybe a little bit. So
Yet.
now, so there are two trends. One is UMPCs, ultra mobile PCs. So look at the size of this.
Yeah,
Look at the
it's
size
extremely
of my
small.
phone.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's almost like of a size of a mobile phone, and you can use it with the touch screen on the other side. So there are multiple options how to use it. However, why I need it? Because sometimes I just want to have a handy tool when I don't have like the backpack with my computer. I don't want to walk every place with my computer, and some even personal tasks are easier to be done on the computer, not on the mobile phone. Even some kind of like the registration thing, buying things, you name it, even searching for the planes with some extra routes. It's usually easier to be done on a bigger screen. Maybe screen is not the bigger, but all the experience is like the desktop one. So that's why I'm almost carrying that any place. I could even code with it because like everything is installed there, like the cursor, everything needed from Docker for the pushing to production and so on. But mostly I use it for the tasks which are done faster on laptop than on the mobile device. I check some statistics For example, like the loads of the servers with the hundreds of users, such things. So not critical things. I could do some critical things. Fortunately, I don't have such cases recently. So the productivity it really goes up when I have the keyboard. Maybe it's not the easiest one to type, but once you are familiar with this, you can easily type with both hands on this. And on the other spectrum, the new hardware which is on the market are the foldable laptops or tablets. I don't even know how to call it. So the Huawei has this like the big screen which you can fold to this, and on the bottom side you have the keyboard with the touch screen. I have to try it myself. I'm a big fan of like the regular keyboard with the keys. Maybe because I'm a geek with the old days, so that might be the case. So I really have to try it. And the Huawei foldable laptop seems to be quite expensive, probably because of this huge screen and battery they have to use to support both screens, the screen you look at and the keyboard as well. So and for me, this device wouldn't be the best because I cannot take it to my pocket. I need the backpack, and if I have a backpack, I'd rather put my laptop there. But I see this trend that the mobile devices, not only cell phones, because even when you have a website which is designed mobile first, it's not as smooth as you would type everything in a computer. So yeah, I just wanted to give you this update that there is this like small market for these ultra small laptops, and as well there is like something new going on the crossing between tablets and laptops with the huge wide screens. So what computer do you use on the move when you have to go someplace?
Yeah, I'm probably on the opposite side of geekiness on your side, because I'm not a device guy. I'm not a hardware guy. I completely ignored since my last Android device. I stopped looking at the hardware in general at all, and I switched to the macOS ecosystem, and I use Windows in some rare cases where I do need to compile or work on some other old projects from my portfolio. But yeah, I would say that probably the challenge right now is the line in between of where to use mobile, where to go for the laptop, desktop, or screen in general. And I do relate with the keyboard aspect, of course, but I also started exploring things like Whisper Flow to speak more to my devices. And I think this is where this line will be a little bit floating, because a lot of people I observe as well, they often speak to their devices now and convert this text from being audio recognized into something as an input. You have all this movement of codecs, co-cursor mobile applications, the collaboration mode, or the on-the-go mode for other models and Cloud AI and stuff like that. So it is definitely a problem that is tried to be solved somehow. I haven't had a situation where I was in the need of in-between device, because right now I'm kind of either for the holidays, for example, I do not take my laptop with me at all times since a couple of years already. So I go with the mobile. If I can't do something from mobile, probably that's not something what I should be doing during the holidays in general. But if I go somewhere where I need to have access to something more serious, let's say, or more laptop driven, then I take my 13-inch MacBook with me, and I have a backpack with me all the time, right? But I haven't had this use case or need yet, but maybe it will approach me. We'll see. But yeah, I do agree that this is some kind of right now decision of interface, which is an audio interface, Gen Z and all the other less geeky, less experienced people in the world right now. They are speaking more than typing, which might be the why those tools are growing in this direction. But I'm also more typer than speaker. But I do try now a Whisper Flow as my daily driver, which seems to be interesting. But at the same time, not everywhere you would like to talk to your computer, to your machine. So then I would probably find this use case for the small device like the one that you've presented. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see and explore what's next. Maybe that will be the combined revolution, and I will switch towards this direction as well. Cool. My next one is about agents again, and as I've mentioned, it will be relation to the previous topics a little bit, because I think like now, imagine the situation, like as you've mentioned, your application has access to credit cards, payments, many other applications and agents can do things like purchases for you. They can decide if you want to do something or if you should be doing something. And let's say the challenge which will be present in those applications will be the autonomy challenge, or generally the single responsible pattern, if it'll be relating to software, but amongst the agents. And I think right now something, as I mentioned, I will be exploring, and I am exploring MCPs a lot, but I was even thinking about going beyond that and plugging into a pattern from the feature flags in general, from the software feature flags into the MCPs, to give this selective autonomy to specific areas of the MCP servers, because maybe we can control, or someone can control, if that's the application feature, if you would like to give the agents power of buying something for $1,000, for example. Do you want your agent to go and start shopping for rare NBA jerseys on the market because you would like to have those in the collections? Or maybe you would like to control some kind of limit on the credit card spend on your agent or MCP server. So I think it is a danger right now, which again, don't scare me, but I think it will be more common problem to be solved. Because now, let's say, you have access to GitHub, Slack, Jira, whatever, and then you have access to Amazon, eBay, or whatever, and then your agents have a purpose-driven implementations that, I don't know, I'm collecting NBA jerseys. That was my use case, real use case. Do they really need to go and find the most rare jersey and buy it for me because that's new on the market? I don't know, right? So I don't want my agent to do it for me. I want to still control that somehow. And I was thinking about some multiple levels of autonomy for the agents as well, and how to control that while we are developing things at the moment. And that's why I started thinking about this feature flags for MCPs and agents, because if you will think about software accesses levels, you have, this read model approach, then you have some kind of, let's say, personalization recommendation engines, then you have some kind of actions like purchases, which, you can be approved by human or maybe cannot be bypassed, same as the agent's actions on the models at the moment. And then you have plenty of low risk cases where you probably don't want to wait for agent to confirm it with you or something like that. So there is some kind of level of autonomously driven actions and full autonomy. So I think that landing somewhere in the spectrum with ability to control that is something what I would like to explore more with the lessons that I've learned from the software industry, because I think this is for what we were implementing functionalities for, feature flags for, and stuff like that. And I think this will expand towards the MCPs and AI agents in general. There are some studies about that, which I'm now investigating, so maybe it's not the best moment to share the results of them, because I will be maybe talking about them a little bit later. But this is definitely moving faster than we anticipated, and generally right now the connectivity layer is moving faster than the trust layer. So that's scary, and that's kind of where I feel like we will be granting governance to agents and controlling the governance generally, and yeah, where will be the change, where will be the angle to work with, live with, I don't know yet. But I think that this will be separated from something what we will be releasing as a software, and that's why I think in between of deployments of businesses, features, agents, and MCPs to the kind of control over that. It will be a field to be fulfilled with something. I don't know yet what, but the take I want to leave myself with, at least maybe some people who will be watching or listening to us as well, is like, when we are thinking about rolling out something right now, don't think about rolling an agent or rolling a feature, rolling an MCP, but rolling some kind of autonomy to do something. And probably that's why I mentioned this related to what you've mentioned about why we build things. So if agent will take out some processing power from our brains and do something autonomously without our involvement, and then will save us some time and struggle, that's an amazing place to be. Same as, I don't know what about you, but I'm a huge hater of phone calls. I don't like phone calls. I avoid phone calls as much as I can. And if I was supposed to call my, I don't know, hairdresser and put some kind of schedule of where I will be able or won't be able to be in place physically to do a hairdress done, that was a struggle for me, and I was postponing this as much as I could. Now I don't need to, because there is an app for that. But if that would be autonomously done, and if I will, for example, be already having a booking in my calendar that next Tuesday I'm going to a hairdresser because an agent booked it for me, that's exactly what I want to see amongst the solutions. And this is the level of autonomy that I would probably give my agents to do. But there will need to be a line, as in relation to this control and sovereignty of the software. Who has access to what, and what can be done without our involvement, and what shouldn't be done without our involvement. So that's my topic number 3. Do you have some kind of thoughts to be added to that?
Cool. So we can smoothly go to my third topic, because it will partially answer
Wrap
or
it up.
give
Yeah.
or give comments to what you just said. So what I see, we are living in 2 worlds now. One is the AI deniers, who think that everything will be the same. I will speak about the reasons why they might think. And we have the other world, which you spoke just and me in this episode, about the automated agents buying things for you. So I believe that the best way would be somewhere in between, things which you can automate and give your agents credit card for, with very limited access to what you want them to pay for, because you don't want them to buy some crazy stuff or do some even illegal things online. I don't know, maybe gambling, because they would think that now I can earn money because I will bet on some team online or whatever, or go to online casino. So that would be absolutely bad situation. That's why you need to put some framing for the AI automation and the autonomous things they can do, with the limitation you want to add. But let's think or speak about a little bit about the AI deniers. So why things are staying in this thinking, this mindset? Few things. Probably they just want to be things as they were, and they are looking for the signs that AI bubble will just pop. They always sending the articles about, okay, so this company went absolutely all in AI, and now they're hiring people once again. And of course, this happens because some companies were diving head down for the AI and crashed because of that. Even looking at the models, like the models 2 years back and models today, totally different story. If they did this huge maneuver 2 years back, they had to pivot back to humans, and now I hope that those employees will stay, but on top of that they will add these agents which will emerge and will do more things together side by side with human. But you can be biased on both sides. You can be biased that people are just neglecting the AI, going back to working only as a human labor, or you can be biased for the AI agents doing everything for you, and you will be only lying all day long watching Netflix, or even you will have the summary by the AI bots about the Netflix series, and you would only read the summary of that. Who knows? But the truth, as usual, is like in the middle. So difficult to say what will happen with the AI deniers. in the long run, because probably some industries will be very focused on human-to-human interactions, and they will stay with their non-AI bubble, living perfect life. But for some deniers, this might be this impact might end up badly, because people from the same industry would use AI, even assistance at the beginning, which will be faster, better prepared, they will better execute their job, and in the long run they will just win. So you cannot fight with the knife, with the space rocket which is flying away from your planet. You are just not fast enough, even with a ball, or trying to, I don't know, make some wings to fly. So I don't want to say that there is no AI bubble. For sure there is AI bubble, and for sure huge amount of the AI startups will fail. That's the part of the process. The same with the .NET bubble. Now everybody uses internet, uses all the platforms. We are paying for the subscriptions here and there, and we are spending more money on the software than ever with the licenses and all the subscriptions. But it was like this smooth evolution from beginning of 2000s to now, because it is just more than 2 decades of time, and now nobody thinks that internet is a bubble. Nobody would even say that. No one would even think that it's a bubble. It was a bubble at the beginning, because too many companies just dive head down into the internet, and they crashed. Many of them crashed, but the companies which survive are here, and more new companies are using internet. This is like the main source of the clients, main place of the execution of your work, and so on. The same thing will be with the AI. So you have to wait which technologies will stay with us, and we'll see. I remember that like last year, or even like the half a year ago, there was huge talks about OpenAI is going to bankrupt. But nowadays, with the Codex and the Model 5.6, nobody says so. So you have to judge it like with the cool head, looking at what you can use to help yourself, and don't try to understand the whole landscape, because the landscape will change. So just take your path, narrow it down to your field, your niche, your expertise, find the tools which actually help you, use them, and earn more money and help more people on the way doing so. So that's why I don't follow too many news about what's going on. I'm cherry picking the tools which helps with my products. I focus on that. I try to understand what will be the future of those tools which have some impact for me. And I'm not bothered about the AI bubble, not bothered about the millions of AI startups doing some other things, some other activities I don't need to implement in my daily tasks. So that's why you also mentioned that people are going crazy and mad because of too much AI slop, or you name it. That's I was in that position like 2 years back. We spoke about that in the other episode, when I saw how much code you can generate with the AI, good code. So for me, that was the time when I was, oh, that's huge change. And after that, I adopted the things to my daily routines, and I'm feeling great, and I don't have any FOMO, like going this direction and then going the other direction for the other technology. I'm just staying with my tech stack, adapting a little bit. Now with the Hermes and Grok 4.5, for example, something new. I see if it will help with my daily routine. If not, I'm not going to use it. If yes, I will use it, and probably I will unsubscribe from some other tool I was using, doing similar thing, but a little bit worse than the new thing I'm using. So I'm slowly adapting. I'm not in a rush now. So I would recommend being cool about the AI, For sure, don't be AI denier, because this is probably for many people bad decision to do, not to even understand how it could help them with daily tasks. So yeah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I do agree. And again, I think that's something that I placed on my LinkedIn recently, like a pragmatic AI adoption is probably something what we have missed often these days, because those cases that I've mentioned are probably closer to addiction rather than adoption, because it's like people even mention, like, they cannot go asleep because they feel like they need to, build stuff. And that's dangerous. And again, seeing something like this, of course, you can do everything. You have superpowers right now, right? But and again, but at the same time, without health, without energy to operate with those superpowers, you won't do anything clever. And aspect which we are trying to replace from humanity, thinking aspect, is often missed in those actions, right? We need to think, and as you've mentioned about why we're building stuff, what they can do, what can be used, and this pragmatism in this adoption is something what I often try to do for myself and for everyone who is speaking with me about the AI in general, because a lot of people are right now choking with AI, literally choking with AI. They are exploring AI for things that they are not needing. And again, we are in a bubble, and I'm not talking about AI bubble, but generally IT, tech, coders, developers, devpreneurs, however you will name them. We are in danger at the moment, because we are the first ones who will be exploring this path. A lot of businesses, who I also observe from the outside, they're not even bothered. They're doing their own thing. They're literally going through whatever they should be doing, and again, slowly adopting. If they will be needing something, cool. If they won't be needing it as well, great for them. If they will stay away from that because they don't need it. Everyone is trying to sell something for everyone at the moment, and I'm mostly worried about the companies who buy a lot of this crap tools, which are supposed to be solving the problems for them, when in reality they are just yet another invoice in their email. So I think this is the maybe not a challenge. This is the life now. Being pragmatic about having some bullshit filter in the head is a very unique skill which not everyone has. And yeah, if you have them, if you have one, cool, good for you, probably good for your businesses, your surroundings and stuff like that. But if someone is just jumping from tree to tree because this tree is greener or this tree is doing this and that, probably not the best direction to be jumping to. So I work, and I do have a lot of AI deniers around me. I did have a lot of early adopters as well all the time around me. But again, being somewhere in the middle probably is the best in the long term. But nothing should stop us from jumping on some explorations here, but then going back to a cave and doing nothing with AI for a while, because it's not a factor of success. You don't need to have AI everything to be successful on any field that you are in, despite of being on top of the technology, even. So that's my take. I do agree with you. So let's hope that we will live in the world where we'll be having a same amount of deniers as believers. We'll be all living happily after.
Yeah. I have one final advice for the builders, to a little bit cool them down. So try to sell your idea before you build it. So communicate with some potential clients from the niche, talk to the people, so do the hard stuff, maybe even pick up the phone, which nobody likes.
Oh no.
Call a few people and ask them if they would even need it or use it. Even not giving the price, but some idea if they would even use it for free. If not, that's a strong no to even start the vibe coding, because making 100 projects with no prospects wanting to use it, it's like wasting time. It's not even the odd numbers, because you would always end up with zero clients. So you have to start with the potential clients, prospects who want to use that tool, and then gather the feedback, try to make it as tailored to some niche as possible, and then bring this project with the MVP version, give them to the prospects, charge them to see if they really want to use it, not only to play it for the 5 minutes and just stop using it. If somebody is willing to pay you money for a license using product, that means there is some market for this. And start with that, and your head would be super cool after this, after seeing so many denies, and after seeing that actually your brightest idea is not even lighting at all. So this should cool down the builders, because as you said, the builders are having the hard time trying to do all the things they want to do, but the sales people are the same as they used to be. They try to sell stuff, and this is not easy thing to do. This is very difficult, complex process to be implemented, especially when you want to sell product. So believe me, you will cool down when you had like the bucket of cold water trying to sell something you thought that's a unicorn idea.
Yeah, one thought that just came to my mind before we'll wrap up it's similar to education. I think you are not using your education if you're not doing anything with it. You can buy hundreds of courses and just do them or be doing them, when in reality you're not using the knowledge from the courses. It's the same here right now. You're building, but you're forgetting what you're supposed to build. So you are in the process of building often instead of really building. So that's the relation which I have in mind. I need to formulate it to something more clever. But whenever you were mentioning that, it was immediately in my head like, shit. It's like with the amount of shame books on the shelf which you bought because you were supposed to be learning, when in reality you are learning something cool from the book, but you do not even have time or invest time into using this for anything. So let's leave it with that. We'll jump into these topics next week, and maybe we'll have something more clever to talk about.
That's a very good wrap up. That's a really very good wrap up.
Cool, Jack. So yeah, thanks as usual for those chats. A lot of inspiration, hopefully, for people who will be listening or watching or reading, or agents reading that from the transcripts. Stay strong, stay building, and we'll catch up next time on what's next to see what's happening there.
Same for you. I cannot wait to see your products being used by the clients, by the users, really dying to use it. So I really want to see this happen.
Yeah, cool, man. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and speak to you on what's next.
See you in the next what's next.